Hello, if you've been before, welcome back. If not, hi, my name is David,
Hi, I'm Matthew.
and I make videos talking about media that I want to talk about. This is us talking about, we have marathoned now the Star Wars originals, the three original movies that came out. We have already recorded a video about us talking about the prequels when we marathon that, and then we will also eventually do a marathon for the sequels. These were also first time for you? No, you saw.
No, I've seen definitely like the originals.
Mhm.
But I was very much a kid and I was very much this is way too much for me. I don't like this.
Mm.
And then I definitely knew that I watched not New Hope, Phantom Menace, but anything beyond that, I don't think I really watched
Yeah.
either. Except for the one time I was a child when not Clone Wars, Attack of the Clones came out.
Yeah, yeah. So obviously we started with A New Hope, which came out in 1953. Nope. It turned to the wrong page and I read a different movie. 1977, directed by George Lucas. I give it a 3.6 out of 5. Of the original, I think this one's my least favorite, but not in any like huge way. It's like still a pretty good movie, but it's fine. What do you think?
Watching this, it's like a pretty okay entrance to this world.
Yeah.
I do like how they kind of like talk about events that happen like it's normal. Like Luke mentions the Clone Wars. He's like, "Oh, you were in the Clone Wars," and I was like, "They don't mention the Clone Wars at all at the very beginning of the
The
rolling scroll, the scrolling."
I forget what it's called. The it's rolling something. I forget what it's called, but it has like a name to it.
Yeah, well, during that part, I was like, they don't mention that at all. They don't really talk. They don't like have any allusions to it. But he's just like, oh yeah, the Clone Wars. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? And then it made me stop and think, like, what did people back then think of the Clone Wars
Oh, that's
when it
good.
was
Yeah.
just said, like, oh yeah, you're part of the Clone Wars? Did people just think like, oh yeah, some clones got pissed off at each other and started fighting?
I remember in my AP World History class when we were preparing for the test for the essays, we had to introduce whatever we're talking about in the introduction, and so the professor she used Star Wars the rolling intro as an example of these is supposed to help with context of what's happening right before the story begins. This is how you begin your essay. This is the context that you're giving. And so I always remember that, like the rolling credit type idea. I don't know if it's new, but it's definitely like the most popular version obviously is in Star Wars. And so it's really good to get you like context, like this is what's happening right now. But knowing everything in like the prequels and like things between as well helps a lot because yeah, if it was just this movie, I would be a little bit lost. But it worked.
Yeah,
It worked
yeah.
eventually.
Like I do. Part of me enjoys it just because it's like offhand, like, oh yeah, of course they would just be like, oh whoa, the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to say it, but it'd be like, wow, you were alive during 9/11. Like kids have said that to me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like that would feel like the same kind of.
Yeah. We're talking about like comparing the prequels and the originals in terms of the acting. Almost called Luke Skywalker as like the actor himself.
Yeah, it was actually Luke
Mark
Skywalker.
Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, amazing actors. The way that the characters are written, is kind of
Here's the thing. I'll talk a little bit more about it later on when we get to the later movies. But like, I really like Leia's character. For like, I stop and I think I'm like, yeah, for the '80s, like she's an action woman, and like she's also a princess. Like this is a very big character. And like I don't know, feminist history, I guess. My feminist literature, and I'm dropping a whole bunch of Star Wars DVDs. But I'm like, yeah, this is like really cool. I like kind of how they have Han Solo. Luke is where I'm like, it's really hard because like he is such a kid. He's just a kid, and that's totally fine. That's what he's supposed to be. But like, you have just a kid, and then like literally Leia, who is the same age as him, who is doing more badass things. And I'm like, I get it because they raised differently, but also like, you wanted to go to this academy. It seemed like you're like kind of confident about something. Why are you like this? It's really weird because right before the inciting incidents happened, he seems a little bit more like regular teenage boy because he's like, I'm gonna go get a power conversion with my friends, and his uncle's like, you need to go do your chores.
Yeah.
Stop. And I'm like, where's his friends? Also, we find some of his friends, but he doesn't mention them, and so he's like being buddy with what, Biggs. And I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
There's been a lot of discussion like after the fact of like Mark Hamill talking about like how he had to act and stuff like that, and he was like very like youthful and very like naive, and he was like told to do that, but also like a recent video went a little viral on TikTok that I saw recently that was like him talking about it, and like George Lucas cast people as they are, and so he was like, I want Luke to be as Mark Hamill is, who's happy, excited to be there type, and Harrison Ford, I forget when this was compared to Indiana Jones. I think it's before Indiana Jones, already somewhat established and stuff. I'm not too sure about Carrie Fisher, but Carrie Fisher, is very, we can see it in her acting. She's very specific and very direct, and so it's like, yeah, that's just how they were. And these actors knew who they wanted to play as, and George Lucas just wanted them to be as they are, which compared to the prequels, George Lucas did not know how to direct those actors well enough to help with the weird script.
But we had so many good scenes.
Yeah.
We had so many good scenes.
Hayden Christensen, I love you so much.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, he's a little bit annoying.
Yeah, I was talking to you during these marathons about like why I couldn't get latched onto Star Wars as a franchise, and a lot of it was just because I didn't care about Luke. And I'm a dumb kid, and I don't understand that. So in my head, I'm like, oh, I just think it's boring and long. But it's like, oh, it's because the main character, I just don't like how they're written.
Yeah.
And from that point on, it did not make me care about anything else because I'm a child. This time around, obviously, I'm an adult, and I'm like, no, I get. This is why I don't like it, because I don't feel some sort of competency from him. Yes, he's a child, but also he's a teen. He should have something underneath his belt to be like, oh, I don't know, I farmed moisture, so that means I know how to use a gun. Yeah, I don't know, something like that.
He has that added aspect of being able to pilot, and that helps. But for what the story wants, that piloting thing doesn't get to be shown off more
until the very end. It's not until the very end,
and then only this movie.
Yeah,
because I was also talking about the plot here on one end, hero's journey, very structured, but it works for a reason. Hero's journey works for a reason. The plot is very solid, and I like how it flows from Tatooine to the Death Star to Yavin 4 and the Battle of Yavin. But I was looking at like the final acts of all these movies. This final act feels very out of place because it is Luke in a pilot ship going to destroy the Death Star, and that felt very out of place compared to just looking at the past movies that we've talked about here in Star Wars, Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan's fight against Darth Maul. That's the final act, not counting Anakin flying through this space station, stuff like that.
That's the best part.
And then also Anakin and Obi-Wan's fight at the end of Revenge of the Sith, and then the Count Dooku versus Yoda fight. Big fights at the end of the movies. Even in the next two movies, Empire Strikes Back, you have a big fight between Luke and Vader, and then again Luke and Vader and the Emperor. That's it. All of those final acts work together, but this final act is a kind of different.
Yeah, no, it's we talked about this yesterday.
Yeah,
I thought that when Obi-Wan dies, that was the end of the movie. If not, not the end, because we all know that they have to get their medals.
Oh yeah.
But I thought
big
climactic moment. He dies and they get off the Death Star or something like that. In my head, I was like, I know they blow up the Death Star, but I think Obi-Wan does something to help them get off of it.
Yeah.
But because I mess up the chain of events, and honestly, I think that my child brain made it better.
Yeah, I do remember feeling not cheated, but definitely when I first watched it and saw Obi-Wan die that quick. Also because when I first watched it, I had seen the prequels first, like we did. I was like, I feel kind of cheated because now I don't have Obi-Wan anymore. But that was fine.
I actually do like that he has a catchphrase, which is just "hello there."
Yeah, retroactively made.
Yeah, retroactively made a catchphrase. But there was somebody else that they gave. I was like, they gave a catchphrase to. Was it Leia?
No, but they gave Leia some great lines.
Yeah. Okay, Leia. I love that she was. First of all, I love the stormtroopers when she's hiding from them. She comes out with a gun. She looks like Alyssa Edwards. She looks like Alyssa Edwards coming out.
Or you better believe I'm gonna do my best to steal the show. That's the name of this game.
With like her little blaster, and the stormtroopers are like, "Oh yeah, just put it to stun." She fucking murks somebody, and runs off, gets captured still, but she runs off and is like doing a whole bunch of plausible deniability to Darth Vader, being like, "Yeah, I'm on a diplomatic meeting. Oh my god, you just caught me at a bad time."
Yeah. Really funny after, like, this is directly after Rogue One.
Yeah.
And seeing, like, him just decimate a hallway full of rebel soldiers, and then he's following her, and she's like, "What are you doing?" You know, really funny, like, framing of that.
Also, they rescue her, and then she instantly takes command of, like, okay, go into this garbage chute.
Yeah.
And they're like, everyone else is like, no, I don't want to go in the garbage chute. She's like, go. We have to go. We have to survive.
She's like, you didn't plan an escape.
Yeah.
You don't know how to do this. You don't know how to do that.
Like, she was such a good character. Yeah. And then I'm like, man, I love Leia way more than I fucking love Luke. However, there's part of me that's when they're in the Death Star and trying to rescue her, I did kind of like how, I don't want to say tactical, but like how quick on his feet Luke was of like, oh yeah, I have an idea to do this. Whereas like Han is, I don't know, being an r/atheism person. It's very hard for me to like watch this and be like, how is Han Solo not a Reddit user? He would use Reddit if he was in real life. Somewhat connected. This would be my last piece. I hate that all the guys have such 70s hairstyles because I'm looking at them and I'm like, man, I can't. This is a weird suspension of disbelief for me, but like the fact that you guys look like poster models for the 70s takes me out of this.
The Pokemon that we chose for this was Jilbur, because of Tatooine, big part of this movie. The first act is all in Tatooine, and I was thinking, well, we were looking at like desert type of Pokemon, and we pulled up Excadrill. Excadrill kind of works, but because Luke is such a little tiny whiny baby here, he's not yet a Jedi. He doesn't have like the skills for it. I was like, oh, like a little baby, like Drillbur. You know, he has not yet gained it. What's the singular Drillbur? It has not yet gained the steel typing, so it's still like learning.
Yeah,
and it's in the desert.
The Pokedex entries for Dilbert all talk about how it's fast, and that's kind of like he does have piloting skills. He does lead the rebels to victory against the Death Star
in the Battle of Yavin. I already did a rant about the Battle of Yavin.
And how you don't like the time frame, and you don't like that
thing. Again. Anyways. The next movie that we watched was The Empire Strikes Back, which came out in 1980. All of these movies did a really good job of us coming out like 3 years from each other. Directed by Irvin Kershner, which I was surprised that George Lucas did not direct the rest of these movies. I don't think he was... He didn't write this. I don't even remember if he was a producer in this movie. He comes back as a writer for the third movie, but like I don't write down the producers in my journal, but he wasn't a director, he wasn't a writer. I think his wife, Marsha Lucas, is the only one who stays consistent throughout every single film, and that's because she edits it. So she edited all 3 movies. That's the only one of the creatives that I write down has stayed consistent through all 3 movies. I gave this a 4.2 out of 5. Looking at it overall, I do enjoy the middle movies more than the other ones. Like I enjoy Attack of the Clones most in the sequels and the prequels. This one, Empire Strikes Back, more in the original, and then Last Jedi is also the middle one that I enjoy more of the 3. So really funny. But anyways, what do you think of Empire Strikes Back?
I was told that like this is when it's like the hero's last legs, and I guess I exaggerated it in my child brain because everyone kept saying like, oh yeah, they're really fucked up. This is the Empire Strikes Back. Like people would compare Avatar: Day of Black Sun
Oh my god.
to Empire Strikes Back. So in my head I'm like, oh, these guys are fucked.
Yeah.
And they weren't really that fucked. I feel like people took that mostly from the fact that Darth Vader is actually his father.
Yeah.
More than anything, but like the beginning felt a little odd to me, only because I did like that it's supposed to showcase that Luke is kind of understanding how to use the Force and use a lightsaber.
You mean when he's in
the tundra, essentially?
In the cave?
Yeah, when he's in the cave. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I get it for that, but also we had to get the Tauntaun killing scene.
Yes.
And I felt that was a little superfluous. But I guess if anything, it's supposed to showcase like, oh yeah, Han Solo's really cares for all these people. He's just not a money grabber like he thinks he is.
Yeah.
I know that nobody knows that they're siblings, but also I'm like, fucking wild Leia for kissing Luke just to be like, fuck you, Han. I don't like you.
Like going through these movies, even before that, there are the idea that like there's some sort of a love triangle happening.
Yeah, but like it doesn't feel like a love triangle.
But it really feels like Han and Leia are using Luke as a weapon against each other.
Yeah.
More than anything.
Child of divorce.
I was like, when he was in this med bay and he was like watching watching Han and Leia like argue, he was like looking at them, and it was very much like that one picture of like the wolf furry.
The wolf furry and
like, his parents are fighting in the shadows.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my god, yeah, like the child of divorce is happening. They're like using him in their fights against each other. And I was like, it's so sad. Poor Luke.
Mm-hmm. When the Empire finds them in Hoth, they change that scene that you told me about, which is literally just like, oh yeah, I guess this Yeti thing is so
I showed him the deleted scene.
Did they capture it or something like that in the original?
I don't know. It's a gag. It's a visual gag. I showed him the deleted scene of like C-3PO removing the warning sign and the door opening and like the Yeti attacking and killing one of the stormtroopers. Deleted scene.
I get that, but also like at the same time, some good characterization to C-3PO because they really make him a bitch.
Yeah, they make C-3PO like a comedic. A comedic, what's a term? I literally just had it.
She's like the Candace of the Star Wars universe. But which I'm like kind of fine with, but like as we're going through these movies, I'm like, guys, come on, stop being an asshole to C-3PO.
I also felt that when I was younger and I was watching these movies, like especially when we get to like Cloud City, I'm like, stop being mean to him.
Yeah.
I really like the plot of this movie. I think this is my favorite plot because we get, in Hoth, really interesting moments there, and then we split off. And we have Luke training in Dagobah and Han and Leia is running from the Empire.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. Is like, oh my god, the Empire, they're kind of fucked because they're trying to get away from the Empire. It's all because the Millennium Falcon is like malfunctioning.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I guess. But then they like meet up once more in Cloud City. And Cloud City is really interesting visually to me.
Cloud City was really cool.
Cloud City. And then it just like joined together. And then, oh no, Han is in a carbonite.
Yeah.
And that's really fun pacing because we cut back and forth in really fun ways. I think this pacing is a lot better than it is in Attack of the Clones when they do a similar dual structure.
I disagree. Like, for example, I feel like the scene with them escaping the worm cave.
Yeah.
Not fully necessary. It was just there to be like, whoa, space monster. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, true.
I don't like the cave scene with Luke where it was like supposed to be all a test.
Yeah,
because Yoda doesn't explain that, oh, hey, I'm about to test you. It's just like, don't go in there.
They stop after like a training section. They're like taking a rest.
Yeah, it's just there. Like, and then he's like, don't do it. And then later on, Luke is yelling at Yoda, be like, Yoda's like, you failed the test. Yeah, but I came back. And then in my head, I'm like, what fucking test? I'm like, oh, so the dream sequence, essentially, that could have been a dream sequence. And then that's also when Yoda could have been like, hey, yeah, sometimes the Force gives you visions.
No.
This is where, like, I get pissed off the most with, like, Luke. Where I'm like, I'm fine that he's training. It's totally fine. I get it. Whatever. but I'm so more attached to whatever the fuck's going on with Leia and Han because these are more compelling characters.
Yeah,
I care a little bit more what's going on with them because Luke is just training, and even though he is just training, the
story's not progressing.
It's not progressing as much. And also him as a character doesn't feel like it's progressing that much.
Yeah,
until like Yoda and his fight. But even when that's going on, it's just like, don't go. You're not fully done with your training. And he goes, oh, but I need to go save my friends. And they're like, okay, but like you will be used for them, for the Empire if you do that. So like just stay here a little bit. The Force is probably just playing a little bit of tricks on you or whatever. I do like how it's retroactively connected to Anakin with how Anakin's having his Force visions of Padme dying and stuff like that. Yeah. So I do like that for the prequels, I guess. Point one to the prequels. That being said, I do kind of wish that we saw like an actual dream sequence for Luke, because then I've been like, oh hey,
because he's sort of
getting fucked around with.
He's sort of just upside down and balancing and doing the Force, and he's like, Leia, Han, and then just like tips over and he's like, I saw them, they're screaming, and it's like that's very telly.
Yeah.
And like I don't even think we need to see it. We can also hear it. You know, if they like had a sound overlay of like Han screaming,
which they could have done.
They could have done that. That could have helped push that a bit more. But it did get very telly.
In my head, I was like, were they just thinking about? Was he just thinking when they were getting attacked by bats, or is it just a random like vision of the future? Because at this point in time, they're like at Cloud City, aren't they?
Yeah. So it's like, all right. That's fine.
Lando, I love Lando.
Lando's fun.
Lando's really fun. I kind of hate that he keeps going like, I had no choice. And the entire time, like, really, dude? Yeah, no choice. I do kind of enjoy the fact that Leia and Han are trying to escape the Empire, and it's very hard for them because of how vast it is. Yeah. I think this is the only way that they were able to like show how vast the reach of the Empire is, and the fact that the Cloud City is the only place that is not touched by the Empire.
One of the few places.
One of the few places that are not touched by the Empire.
It's also very one of my classes in college was video game theory, and one thing that they talked about was when you're making an enemy character, they have more resources but are dumber than you, and the player character has to have less resources but you have the intelligence of a human, right? So it felt very much like that. Like, yeah, the Empire has a lot of resources. They're also dumb as rocks.
Yeah.
Last fight with Luke and Vader was pretty fun. I see that scene, and it is like the epitome of like sci-fi space opera drama.
Yeah.
You know, like Luke is barely getting an inch over Vader, and Vader is just sort of like messing around with him. It's like, you can join me. And also, I didn't remember this, but he's very much trying to double timing the, like, there's times where he's like, we can work together and kill the Emperor. And like, I'm not saying he's lying, but that's definitely like an interesting thing to add. Like, the Sith are unstable because they try to undercut each other every single moment. And I like that moment. And yeah, Mark Hamill kind of hams it up a bit when he discovers that Vader's his father,
really,
but it's iconic.
Yeah.
I don't this might have been disproved a while ago, but one of the first things I remember learning about that scene was when they actually filmed it, they tried to keep it secret. So they instead of saying that Vader was his father, it was stated that Obi-Wan killed his father. And I don't know if it was in the script and it was read out to Mark Hamill in that scene as Obi-Wan kills your father, and then overlaid with the voice of James Earl Jones saying, I'm your father. Or in the moment, Mark Hamill hears that I'm your father in the dialogue. I'm not sure about that. Or they knew about it and they just kept it hidden, and they used whatever script that they had it as Obi-Wan killed your father or something. I'm not sure. I'm not even know if that's like true. That might have been disproved. But the thing was like, they tried keeping hidden by saying it's Obi-Wan that killed your father. but then I was like, oh no, it's Vader that is your father. So that's, I don't know, urban myth maybe, uh, old history type thing. Do you know that when he kicks the bucket, he breaks his toe?
Okay. Another thing I don't like about this movie is they kind of made Leia a little bit more incompetent for like ship bait. Like her with the badge, I was kind of okay with because like
it makes sense.
It makes sense.
I would do the same.
And also like, and as much as I can be like, oh, she would have battle expertise, that doesn't mean that she has field expertise.
Yeah.
So like, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's fine. Like, it makes sense where she's a little like taken aback by these badges and stuff like that. But there's things that happen in this movie that she does or she does not do, where I'm like, where were you last movie?
Yeah.
Last movie, you were like barking orders at these guys and taking initiative, and now you're just scared.
Yeah. And like I wish, I mean, it feels like more of a thing that you would see nowadays. Like I wish she would use the allure that she knows she has against Lando to get information.
Yeah.
And like I feel like you see that in that time, but I think that type of character many times in like such a open world location as Cloud City, she's like, I'm gonna go find them information because no one knows who I am here. And Lando has the hots for me. So I was like, you could see that, but I get why not. But also like, come on.
Oh yeah, this movie made me think so much of how C-3PO and R2-D2 are just married. They're
divorced couple.
They are an old married couple to me.
Yeah. I think their actors hated each other. I forget exactly about that. But I know that the pairing is not the best between them, the two actors.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, do people not ship C-3PO and R2-D2?
Well, not really, but also they are very much. It's not like a shipping like people ship like Han and Leia and like Luke and Han.
Luke and Han. I think Luke and Biggs should kiss.
Oh God. There was I do remember seeing a Tumblr post. I was like, imagine these shipping wars that they would have on Tumblr if these movies came out like this, and it was like Leia and Han shippers versus Leia and Luke shippers. Imagine the atomic bomb that would have dropped.
Do you know what's really funny? And I guess we'll talk about it a little bit more with the sequels, but I remember on Tumblr that people were just like, yeah, Rey, Finn, and Poe are just a throuple.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I agree. Like Leia took a backseat here, and I think she just takes a backseat the entire rest of the movies. But Carrie Fisher has the charisma in her like acting to deliver her still being this strong-willed person. I've also seen a lot of people talk about retrospectively how Leia and Luke carry themselves are mirrors of their parents in terms of Luke was placed in Anakin's world and Leia was placed in Padme's world, but Luke would prosper more in Padme's senatorial or Alderaan type of a world, while Leia would prosper more in the Jedi with doing adventures with Anakin, stuff like that. And so I remember seeing like fan art of like, what if Leia was like a Jedi, you know, and Luke was a senator for Alderaan, you know, and that made a lot more sense to me, you know, seeing how like combative Leia is. I'm like, that's Anakin Skywalker right there. She's doing the aggressive negotiations.
Yeah, Leia would kill all of them, not just the men, but the women.
Yes. And then like Luke, very soft spoken, very like a down to earth type. He's very much like a Padme type of character. So it just really sucks that they were placed in those circumstances.
Again, why did what's his name? What is the last name of Leia?
Or Basil Oregano.
Okay, why did
Bail Organa?
Okay, why do you really go say fuck Luke, fuck him? He gets no droids. He gets no palace. Put that bitch in the desert.
Because it was very much like, his wife can't have children.
Yeah,
they wanted the girl, so we'll take the girl, and then we'll take Obi-Wan will hide the boy in Tatooine.
Still, in my head, I'm like, wow, they really just said, fuck this kid.
Yeah.
They could have put him on Coruscant. Now, I'm not saying that Coruscant is the best idea because
it's actually the worst idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's the best idea, but like also like, yeah, let's put this bitch on the desert.
Desert, yeah. Anyways, the Pokemon that we chose was Kubfu. I do not know much about this one except it is a DLC for the Galar region, a fighting type Pokemon that will eventually become a master fighter. Kubfu is like similar to Drillbur. It is about to become something, and this is when we have Luke training to be a Jedi and training to be this warrior.
Yeah,
you know,
he does get a little bit more serious in this one, at least after the training. That is kind of fun. I will say I kind of enjoy Luke a little bit more once he says "fuck you" to Yoda and Obi-Wan.
Right now, he's still training. Kubfu's still a little guy who's still a little training. I don't really have a connection to this Pokemon because I never played Galar, unfortunately, not yet though. So, do you have anything to say about Kubfu?
No, I also never played Galar.
And then finally, we watched Return of the Jedi, which came out in 1983, directed by Richard Marquand. I gave this a 4 out of 5. Fine, good movie. I guess this is Star Wars movie : Ewoks, and that's it to me.
I really like this one. I like how it started off as the Han Solo rescue mission.
That was fun.
I like how thoughtful they were on like, okay, let's get as many people as we can into Jabba's palace.
Yes.
I was also very surprised that Lando was still in here because I don't remember Lando at all after Empire Strikes Back.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. So him being here, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense because he was with them at the end. I liked you headcanon that Leia was improvising this the entire time and was like, yeah, I want a lot more money. And Jabba was like, oh, why do you need so much money? She's like, okay, so I have a bomb.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good planning on all of their parts of like, let's try to infiltrate this palace. One by one, but also like in smart ways of like, okay, you're going to be prisoners, you're going to be gifts, and kind of just in the general vicinity of Jabba. And then I will just sneak in because I can just use Jedi mind tricks.
Yeah.
Sneesnoodle?
Yes, I believe her name is Sneesnoodle.
Sneesnoodle stole the show. And so did Max Rebo.
We finally got Max Rebo.
Max Rebo, I love you so much.
Yeah.
This is like one of the things you would tell me like, oh yeah, this is part of the remaster. Once I would see CGI that was just kind of like, I don't want to say like super amazing, but like amazing for its time.
Oh yeah.
I would be like, oh yeah, that's remastered. Like the whole Sneesnoodle bit, I was like, there's no way that's a puppet.
Yeah.
And there's no way they would have like, it's fun for them selling like how much of like a
gangster
sleazy bar this is essentially.
Yeah.
But man, it did not need to be here. It did not need to be here. Them pulling off the heist and kind of failing, really fun. I love that Han Solo is just kind of blind for a good amount of it. He just has to remind us all the time. Yeah, hey guys, I'm blind.
Yeah, but that whole like first act is just really fun.
It is. It's a really fun, especially the Sarlacc bit.
Yeah,
it's a fun like battle scene.
I don't want to say because it to me kind of feels a little bit like fan servicey in a type of way.
Oh yeah,
but it's definitely tying up loose ends that we've started since New Hope.
Yeah,
because we get Han being threatened by Greedo and then being threatened by Jabba, and then in Empire, he says he wants to leave because he has to pay back.
I think they like reference like, oh yeah, we were in a run-in with a bounty hunter within the years that.
Yeah. Briefly in Empire as well. So it's like tying up all those loose ends, tying up like Tatooine itself, and then it's also a showcase of like how much Luke has grown in being a Jedi, and so that was also really fun. With him in his Chanel boots.
Yeah, him in his Chanel boots. No, it was really, it was fan servicey, but like it worked for the story. It worked for like these things, especially like let's get Han back.
Yeah.
And for all of the like shitty things that happened within Empire Strikes Back, this would make sense for like the first thing to easily accomplish.
Yes. Yeah. And they need Han for like the rest of the story, so obviously you have to save the friend. The plot here is a little not clunky per se, but definitely like directly after this we go and meet we have a little meeting with the rebellion, and that's when Mon Mothma says that many Bothans died to get the plans for the Death Star 2.
Yeah. And when we were watching the first movie, A New Hope, I was like, where's Mon Mothma?
Yeah.
Where's Mon Mothma? Where's she? And then she like kind of shows up, but she doesn't say like, hi, I'm Mon Mothma.
I forget that she doesn't show up until like this movie.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That she stayed this relevant. Shout out to Andor. But yeah, like after that, we go directly to Andor and we stay in Andor the rest of the goddamn movie. Not Andor.
Endor. Yeah.
I'm keeping that in. That's it. The forest moon of Endor. The sanctuary moon. And it's not smooth. And I don't want to say there's no second act, but the second and third act are very similar to each other because we're staying in Endor. And so it's just very like straightforward. And to me, that's not as like fun.
Yeah.
You know?
The second act, I guess, is just them dealing with the Ewoks.
Yeah, befriending them and stuff like that.
Befriending the Ewoks, which yes is necessary for the last act, which is very enjoyable. I like that the Ewoks are not human, and they are the things that they help destroy the Empire, who they only want to hire humans, essentially.
Yeah, because they're racist to aliens.
Yeah, because they're racist to aliens. I really like that. But second act, with them discovering the Ewoks, one really, really fun because Carrie Fisher's just talking to this bear.
Wicket.
Also, you told me that this is filmed in California. Everything that happens here, this is like a porg situation. Carrie Fisher was actually talking to a baby bear.
Oh yeah.
There's part of me is like, I felt like this was not needed with just them doing stupid stuff with C-3PO and them being like, oh, he's a god.
I wish if what they had there was too minimal. And if they wanted to make a thing out of it, they should have added more.
Yes.
Of that. You know, they should have added more of like trying to like I thought I remember seeing, but it might have been something cut, but maybe a mural of like a religious mural of like this is the god that they worship, and it does kind of look like C-3PO.
Yeah, I would be totally down with that because there was a little bit of me that was like, this feels a little stupid.
Yeah, it feels a little what's the term? Coincidental.
Yeah,
and I was like, what would they have done?
Yeah,
without this.
The only thing I can think of that would fix this for me, if it's like make this a little bit longer or add a little bit more context, or just make it faster. Like they get to Endor, there's no fight with the stormtroopers with them riding on
the scooters.
Yeah, riding on the scooters.
It also kind of doesn't look that good.
Oh, we did skip over the Yoda dying.
Oh, well, that just happened so quickly.
And the entire time I was like, Yoda's gonna die. And then when Yoda's there and Luke Skywalker's like, why won't you tell me about my dad? And the entire time I'm like, Yoda's just like, I need to die first.
That scene also lingers so long. Yeah. And I'm like, I
don't think it should have been cut, but like
could cut down.
Could cut down. And also the Obi-Wan scene could have happened on Endor.
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. But definitely like that one scene with like Luke in Yoda's like hut. I was like, I remember watching it the first time and like him starting to talk with Yoda at the beginning of the scene. At the end of the scene, Yoda's dead. Yeah. And I'm like, what? I feel like there should have been at least one other scene before that to have Yoda there, but he just immediately dies, and I'm like, that feels rushed. Yeah. And his death feels rushed, but the scene felt long and lingered, and I was like, I didn't quite enjoy how that was structured. But then after that, we get the iconic in a certain point of view, which if the Star Wars catchphrase is, I have a bad feeling about this, a certain point of view is the corporate attempt of a catchphrase. Obi-Wan says, in a certain point of view, Anakin was killed by Darth Vader.
Oh, yeah.
After that, I forget where, I think it was Robot Chicken, they made a song based off of in a certain point of view.
Oh, really?
And then recently, they've released short story collections, short story anthologies, like Disney produced short story anthologies called The Certain Point of View, and it's set in every single movie, but every chapter, every like story is a scene of the movie or something similar to that in a different person's point of view. And I've not read those. I kind of want to read them, kind of don't. But like that's like they're trying to push the, you know, in a certain point of view. You know, this is this character seeing this moment in this Star Wars, and you have to buy this book. You have to give money to Disney because it's Star Wars. But that's where that comes from this scene, and I'm like, I guess.
Anyways, back on Endor. I will say I feel like Leia kind of bounced back from the second one because she does seem like she's having a little bit more fun when she's on the scooter. It feels like, okay, cool, our action girl's a little bit back. Yes, she has to go deal with the Ewoks. Also, I can't tell if the Ewoks were gonna also eat her or just like, hey, let's give you some braids, girl.
No, yeah, because like Wicked befriends her and she's like, awesome, they're my friends.
Yeah.
You are all of my friends, and then like they capture the boys.
Yeah, and they're like, we're gonna eat them.
And then she goes up to them and she sees them and she tries to stop them, and then they stop her, and she's like, but they're my friends, as if they fucking understand her. And I'm like, they don't understand you, girly. They just look at you and say, oh my god, pretty hair. That's it.
Once they like do all they stop the eating of the main cast. I really enjoy that they're like, okay, let's have C-3PO now summarize the entire event of this franchise so far, but in an alien language.
Yeah,
and also sound effects.
Yeah, that was fun. I remember seeing that. I was like, that's really that's cool. That's fun.
It's fun. It's a little stupid, but also it makes me think of like how people would talk about when they were kids watching this movie and how much they loved the Ewoks because they were kids and they thought they would look like their teddy bears and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh yeah, tons of like kids of the 80s would have been like, oh my god, these guys are so cute.
Yeah, and like
they really are cute.
And that scene doesn't overstay its welcome.
No, it doesn't.
Like other scenes too.
So like it is kind of cute because it is the third movie, and for the most part, no one really expected any more things to come out of this franchise.
Yeah.
So it is a good way to be like, hey guys, let's recap what we did.
Because I feel like an issue that some trilogies do is that when they get to the third last book or last movie or whatever, they don't have enough things from the first two movies or two books that they try to introduce something. And I think some of the best trilogies, when they do this, if what they do is that they introduce something briefly in the second part, and then that resolves itself in the third part, right? But what some trilogies don't do is they don't lay that groundwork for themselves, and so in the third iteration or whatever, they have to introduce something new. Like they do that in this one with the Ewoks, and they do that in the sequels with Rise of Skywalker, because now like they go to a different planet, and they introduce something new there. And I feel like they could have like laid that groundwork in, like with the prequels, Revenge of the Sith. They don't introduce anything new there because it's been laid out that our Sidious is there, and then like any like new thing that happens there is like General Grievous, you know. But that works in with the Separatists and stuff like that, so it doesn't feel as egregious as it does here when all of a sudden there's an Ewok thing. Like, what the fuck are Ewoks, you know?
To be fair, the prequels did have a good endpoint. Like they have to get this this
that's
point,
true, yeah,
so they can add as much as they want to for second, as long as it gets resolved in the third one. Once they are done with the Ewok shit and they're like, okay, let's go find Stormtrooper Shield Generator, but also Luke is like, Leia, you're my sister, and that's really fucked up. Isn't that crazy? Also, you have the Force, and also you'll never use the Force in this movie. Why didn't they let her use the Force in this movie? I'm fine with them having her like use the Force kind of by like getting the feeling of like, oh,
in
Luke,
the movie,
when she's like, oh, Luke is in trouble and he's still alive.
But that feels more like from his end than her end.
Yeah, that is a good way to be like, oh, hey, foreshadowing, so you can use the Force. Because we don't see Obi-Wan talking to like Han Solo with the Force. He only talks to Luke. Would it be fun for Obi-Wan to talk to Leia during this sometime? Yes. But
I would have fun to have some groundwork of her being slightly force sensitive.
Yeah.
Like, she does not need to use the force, but she can have like the reflexes that like Anakin does.
Make her jump.
Like,
make that bitch
make
jump.
her jump.
Make that bitch jump.
Make her like have to like protect Han and like in that physical
and
exertion.
Or like grab something like
yeah.
something. Like I'm not saying like she needs to like physically use it. It's just like maybe she
that groundwork.
She's like, oh crap, we need to get something.
Grab that gun, shoot someone, kills a stormtrooper to protect Han. They have to run away, and she's like, "How did I do that?"
Yeah.
But then that gets buried under like a story, and then later she'd be like, "That's why I could do this force stuff," you know. But they don't do that, so I'm wondering like. Through the story construction, did they know from the get-go? I'm pretty sure they knew from the get-go that Luke was Vader's son.
Yeah.
They knew that. But I don't know how much they knew that Leia was Luke's sister. You know, did like George Lucas know that from the beginning, or was that a thing introduced in the second movie? Because they mentioned, you know, Yoda saying there's another, but it's like doesn't give any indication of who that could be. And so I'm like, how much did they know going in as they were making these movies that they wanted Leia to be this sister? Why didn't they lay in the clues? It does feel out of nowhere without the prequels.
Yeah.
It feels out of nowhere, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Scene with Luke and Vader of them just talking. I love how stupidly dramatic Luke is still. Like, I'm like, man, this really is Anakin's kid.
Oh my god.
Them laying more of the groundwork of like, oh, Vader kind of feels bad, but also he's like, but it's too late for me because I already genocided some people.
Yeah.
Like this, them trying to stop the seal generator. I think that was a very good thing for Leia and Han to do. Just love the Ewoks.
Yeah.
They're so them having all these traps, doing Home Alone shit. I have to unfortunately talk about this one scene that really took me the fuck out. There's this. It's only like 5 seconds, but it's 2 Ewoks being hit with a laser.
It's not even 5 minutes. It's about 20 minutes, 20 seconds.
20 minutes.
20 minutes. Still like 20 minutes.
Okay, but
it's a significant part of the battle that we cut just to show these two.
Yeah, and it's an Ewok going, oh shit, I can get up. Let me go grab my friend. Why aren't you moving? Then gets up on top and realizing he's dead. And I watched that and I was like, what the fuck? Who thought it was a cool idea to be like, give this guy survivor's guilt and some trauma.
Yeah.
This little tiny bear. And the rest of the time, I can't stop thinking about it.
Because it's not even like that one thematic thing does not reoccur. We don't see any other Ewoks being killed. We don't see any other pain about that.
We don't see like a memorial for the people who've fallen and the Ewok society.
Yeah.
And it's not even like foreshadowing of like someone's gonna die. I mean, yeah, somebody dies, but like it doesn't matter because he was a bad guy anyways in the grand scheme of things. So we just fall on this Ewok that dies and you feel bad for it. And I'm just like, who greenlit this?
It's such a like tonal whiplash.
Yeah, just these little tiny teddy bears.
Yeah. And that's like really.
Oh my god, this is just like when Goofy dies.
And so really interesting that they added that. I think it adds flavor, and I wish they would have done more. I think also like a lot of people have.
I wish more teddy bears die.
A lot of people have complained that, oh my god, how can the Empire be like beaten by just these teddy bears type thing? But I do like that they added moments where their attacks didn't do anything, like the Ewok on the kite dropping rocks on top of the walker, and that doesn't do anything. You know, them trying to pull a rope between the legs and just pulls them behind. But like it shows like how like they have the logs that like crush the walker or the logs that roll under.
Yeah,
I wish they would have showed at least. Well, I get why not, but like they have clubs with rocks on it.
Yeah,
how hard are they hitting the stormtroopers?
Yeah.
But also we know that the armor barely does anything.
Yeah.
So it's like I like that they added like nuances there in the fight of like, yeah, some things that they do work, some things they don't. Mostly it's for a distraction while the rebels actually do the work of shooting them.
Also, so I love that Chewbacca is kind of with them.
Yeah.
now that I'm thinking about it, why wasn't Chewbacca chosen as their god? Because
that too.
Yeah,
oh my God.
They would have seen him and be like, "You are a big person. You're a big version of us. So that must mean you're our god."
You have big shoulders. You're a big girl.
Yeah,
you got big shoulders.
Yeah.
You're a big girl.
I am.
And you have big shoulders.
I do.
And a big kind of chest.
Yeah.
I would be like, that is a giant version of me. That's probably our god.
Yeah.
I love that Chewbacca was kind of like working with these guys. It was really fun. I love these guys.
Yeah.
And I still can't believe they're like, let's take 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Let's take
felt like 20 minutes.
Let's take 20 seconds out of your viewing experience to watch this bitch dead. Anyways, I do enjoy the fact of like they have the one distraction, and that's how Han and Leia are able to just turn around and start shooting these guys back.
This felt like compared to like Hoth, compared to Battle of Yavin, this battle on Endor felt like the most rebel versus empire that we eventually do get in like the sequels, or
and
like,
especially Rogue One,
or like the Andor stuff, like other types of media around this time in the movies. This is the first time we actually get like a battle that feels like a true battle. You know, they gain some ground, they lose their ground, they gain some ground, and so that works.
Going into now,
Luke versus Vader versus the Emperor stuff. I feel like it's a little heavy-handed, and he's very much like, you have to kill Vader, and if you kill Vader, you'll be my apprentice. But if you don't want to do that, Vader's gonna kill you, and I have you trapped. And I was like, that feels stupid. That feels Christian.
Well, yeah. That's one of the reasons why like this movie and most movies that followed the hero's journey they were just very Christian, and they would get popular because Christians would watch this at this time.
Yeah.
Because this, again, was the 80s. They would see this and be like, well, that's what the Bible says, and even though I don't agree with those Ewoks, I still think they can be saved. This is like, what, Narnia? Narnia was very successful. Well, not in the films, but when it came to the books, it was very successful because it was very obviously influenced by Christianity. Yeah. And
their treatment of it was a little bit better.
Yes. Yeah. But like I could watching this, I'm like, this is a little too Jesus-y for me. I can see how this got popular because in this time of the 80s during the Satanic Panic, they would be like, oh, good and evil, Luke's good and he's gonna be evil.
And it's like, I do like the physical acting of Mark Hamill here, where it's like you can see Luke fighting Vader is normal. And then when Vader threatens to find Leia, then he gets a little crazy and angry, and then he's like actually like wailing on Vader, and the way that he fights is a lot less controlled than he was fighting before. And I like that a lot. And then we have the Emperor is like unlimited powering him with the electricity.
I was waiting for him to say that too, unfortunately.
I kept hearing it in my head, and I was like, am I wrong? Because Matthew asked me like, does the Emperor say do it more, or is it just that one time in Revenge of the Sith because of different things?
Yeah, people reference it a lot.
And so I was like, no, I think that's the only time he ever says it. But I'm like, does he say that in this movie? Because there's a lot of times in the script, as I was hearing, I was like, that he could say do it, you know, like kill Vader, do it, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, whatever.
Which would have been so fun. Like retroactively again, like watching the prequels and being like having Palpatine tell Anakin to kill Dooku, and then in the future have Palpatine now say kill him, do it to Luke. Yeah. That would have been such a fun, more of a reason of like Vader to now turn around.
Yeah. I guess also still a little heavy-handed, pun intended heavy-handed, when Luke cuts off Vader's hand and he sees that his hand is still a robot.
Huh? This is the second time that Anakin loses a hand.
I like Vader's not redemption, but definitely like turn, because people are also like, "Oh my God, Vader got redeemed here." And it's like, no, he still killed a bunch of people.
I kind of don't like how Palpatine dies. I thought it was.
He didn't. Actually, he did, but like he didn't.
Okay, but like I don't.
Anticlimactic.
It felt a little anticlimactic. But there's part of me that's like, I wish that Darth Vader did something with his lightsaber instead of just like picking him up and yeeting him up.
He lost his lightsaber when his hand got chopped
Oh
off.
fuck.
But like, I agree.
Yeah,
it's
like,
very much like him lifting up the Emperor and pushing him down felt a little anticlimactic. I don't know what I would have done in place of it, but I feel like I don't know.
Yeah,
I agree that's a little like anticlimactic, but like I don't know what else I could have done.
Yeah.
And it's also important that when he does that, the electricity is cascading on him, which is why he's dying as well. Why Vader's dying.
When he's like, I guess, quote unquote, getting redeemed with like him opening the mask and all that kind of stuff. I liked how fucked up he looked. It was really good.
Yeah.
I said something like, haha, he was pregnant with Bane here.
Yes, it's very visual inspirations.
Yeah,
that
when he gets the little mask,
iteration of Bane has like some auditory and visual inspirations for Darth Vader. But Darth Vader has inspired a lot of different things and is inspired by a lot of other things as well. But yeah, really iconic moment there.
I don't remember if that's when he's like, oh no, I don't remember what Luke says to him.
Luke is wanting to save him, and he's like, "No, you just
let me die. Let me die."
And then he like burns the body.
Yeah. And we get the little party. When they they get the little party, and I kind of forgot that it was specifically Wedge that destroys the Death Star too.
Yeah.
But while we're at this party, I'm like, why is Wedge in so many scenes in this little party? And I'm like, oh, he did. Yeah, in fact. Destroyed the Death Star too. Also, the space fight in this was kind of fun. It's not shown as much.
I don't think it's that memorable.
Well, it's not fun. It's not shown as memorable.
Yeah,
because I feel like a lot of the reasons that they don't show it that much.
They want to pull focus.
They don't want to pull focus for everything that's going on with the main cast. But I still liked it.
Yeah, it was good.
I wish it wasn't a repeat of the first one, but like still, I kind of like the fact of like, hey, we still have a whole ass rebellion. Have them do something.
Yeah. And then like the celebration scene at the end with like the remaster, adding in scenes from
Tatooine and Coruscant.
They maybe already had.
No, they probably had. They probably had Tatooine. They definitely did. They definitely had Tatooine.
Yeah.
Because there's like a visual. They might have polished it a little bit.
Yes.
But if you see like anything kind of like below where the buildings are, that looks kind of low grade.
Yeah.
Same with what other
Cloud City.
Cloud City.
Yeah.
Same with Cloud City. But when they go to Naboo and when they go to Coruscant, that is like very much this is remastered.
Part of the remaster. Mostly because those are, the important planets in the prequels. So, like obviously.
Did ask you when they were showing those scenes, where I'm like, well, was this part of the original? Because I could totally see them like just cutting to just random ass planets. Of them celebrating, because like of course the empire is wide. It would make sense to be like, let's just show off these like all these different sort of cities and planets to just be like, whoa, woo, look how big this universe is.
Yeah, maybe I don't know because I never saw the original, so I don't know if the remastered added scenes to that or if they even just added the celebrations. Because I can definitely see them adding in the Cloud City and the Tatooine celebrations alongside that to cut through. But I don't know what was in the originals. I'd have to check that. But definitely like cheesy, but fun. And the Pokemon that we chose was Shiftry for multiple different reasons, mostly because it was jungle. We were looking for a Pokemon that was in a forest type of setting. Warrior fighter type, or maybe cuddly. Like I thought of Teddiursa, but I was like, it's not. That's too cuddly.
There's a Pokedex entry that of Shiftry that mentions how this is the reason why. Because we were talking about this, and this is the Pokedex entry that made me want to pick Shiftry. This is from Violet. Legends tell of a bird Pokemon that received divine punishment for its evil deeds and had its beak and wings replaced. And I was like, that's Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Like that's very much when he was Anakin, oh, he's doing so great. He's literally a pilot. Yeah. And he did so many evil deeds, and now he's more machine than man.
And then Shiftry is also inspired by like ninjas and like
the Kinku.
I know that's not for me. Kinku, I think of Kenku, which is the bird type of bird not Pokemon, bird race in Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know what.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh, a yokai.
Yeah.
Oh.
Kinku.
Oh. That's supposed to be a Kinku yokai?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. They're inspired by Kinku.
Oh. Well, dark type, ninja type, like bopping around the trees like the Ewoks do, but also almost Jedi like as well. Fighter using the wind.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. There's a lot of different options that we could have done for this one because of the force, but this one encompassed a lot of different things. And that was all of the 3 originals. What were your overall thoughts?
I like the prequels better. I like the prequels better. I think it's just because I all of the characters in the prequels, and part of it could be just like they got better. But like I feel like the pacing was better in the prequels. Unfortunately, it's hard for me to say this because God, Carrie Fisher was just really good.
Yeah,
Carrie Fisher was really good as Leia, and I did like Harrison Ford as Han Solo. I think those 2 were like really good, but like, man, they're the only good thing comparatively to the prequels, where I'm like, oh yeah, I loved how much I hate Anakin. Yeah. I love Padme.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things for me to love in
Ewan
the prequels.
McGregor.
Ian McGregor as Obi-Wan.
Amazing.
And
Jar Jar.
Jar Jar Binks is in there, but those are Max Rebo. I could see why people would get upset of the prequels, because I remember when we went to go watch the prequels, I said, do people not like this because it's not as action focused? Because it off the bat felt a lot more politically focused than it did
than the originals.
From what I kind of knew. And I'm like, oh yeah, they don't really talk about politics at all in the originals. It's just like, okay, we gotta go blow up this shit. Okay, now blow up this thing. Yeah. It's not like oh yeah, we have to now talk to the Senate to make sure it's okay to blow up things.
And they also like say in New Hope that they dissolved the Senate. Yeah. Like pretty early on. And I was like, okay, that's it. That's all the politics. Yeah, that's fine, I guess. Anyways, yeah, so that is the originals. We will be doing a marathon of the sequels next month, likely. That'll be fun in an excruciating way, mostly because of Rise of Skywalker. But I'm excited for Last Jedi. I'm excited to see it again, mostly, and for you to experience Babu Freak and see him in the frame.
He's above us.
He's above us.
What if Babu was one of us? Just a freak like one of us. You know.
And yeah, thank you so much for watching. What are you streaming right now?
I am mostly streaming Persona 4 Golden with tons of mods. I wanted to do a New Game Plus run before the remake comes out. At first it was like oh yeah, if there's ever a remake, I don't know if there's gonna be one. And then they showed the reveal trailer. I was like, oh fuck, I gotta do this. So I'm mostly streaming that.
And thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share with your friends. Let us know what you think. Don't forget to be passionate. And I'll see you later.